we can express a ratio like this. Right? They're saying 3 to 4 is the same as 6 to 8. They're saying it's equal to. Let's say one of these values wasn't here. Could we figure out what it was?
Yeah.
Let's say I said this is x is to 4. Alright, well, we know what x is. X is 3. Right? Because this is the same.
You would just divide.
If we didn't have this, right? Say we don't have this. We want to figure out what it was. What we could do is just say the first term to the left is always in the numerator, so it's x over 4 equals 6 over 8. So the first term is always in the numerator. The second term is always in the denominator.
Say that again.
See the first term or the term to the left? It always goes in the numerator.
Yeah.
The second term always goes in the denominator. So now, usually we are expanding, right?
Yeah.
We're starting out with the ratio and then we're getting to a higher order.
Right.
And this here, say we had to use this, somebody mixed up the solution for us, and now we got to figure out what the original ratio was. So now we're going backwards. So how can we go from 8 to 4?
Divide.
Divide by 2, right? So if we divide this by 2, what do we have to do to this?
Divide by 2.
All right, so x equals 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So the x would equal 3. So we can go either way. If we have the expanded ratio, we can go back to the original, or the one in its simplest form. Or if we have the one in the simplest form, we could expand it.
So say the x was on the 6th. We would do the same thing, divide.
All right, I'm going to do that over here.
Okay.
You want the x on the 6?
Well, yeah, I just want to know what, yeah.
And actually, I've seen this done this way too. If you see 4 colons, that
Oh.
means equals.
Oh,
So you wanted the 6, right?
yeah, just, yeah.
All right. We're going to start out the same way. We're going to say this is 3 over 4. This double colon, if they don't have an equal sign, is equal. And it's going to be x over 8. Now previously we were going this way. Now we're going to expand. So what do we have to multiply 4 by to get to 8? 2.
Oh, we're multiplying.
So what are we going to multiply the 6? What are we going to multiply the 3 by?
2.
X equals.
2. Oh, I need 6. Okay, so when you're doing it to the right, you multiply. When you're trying to get the number to the left, you divide.
Exactly.
Okay, I think, let me write that down.
Right?
So expand into the right.
Does anybody know what a mean is? Not a mean person, but a mean mathematically.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, mean, mode, and
Median.
median. So what does mean then?
I didn't do well on those.
You didn't do well on that.
I don't remember.
Well, mean actually means the middle, right? So on these ratios, this here is the mean, or these two are the means. And it makes sense because mean means middle. These two numbers are in the middle. Pretty straightforward on that one. All right, well, if you have the name for the middle terms, we've got to have a name for the outer terms, right?
Right.
What do you think they call the outer terms?
Extremes.
No, not the mode. Mode is the most frequently observed number.
Extremes.
Extremes. These are the extremes.
Sounds like a group thing.
Yeah, the means and the extremes. All right, since everybody wanted a rule, I'm going to give you a rule. All right, here's our rule. In a proportion, or when we have two ratios, the product of the means equals the product of the extremes. Let's see if this works in our relationship here. All right, so the means are 4 times 6. I think this equals about 24. And the product of the extremes, which is going to be 3 times 8, this also equals 24. So they equal each other. Oh, instead of doing it this way. let's change this to a fraction format. If we wanted to, one way of determining if these two ratios are equal, let's say we don't know here. How can we check it? Well, we could cross multiply. So we would take 3 times 8 is equal to 4 times 6. And if these two numbers are equal when you cross multiply,
Yeah.
then the ratios are equivalent. Let's see if it works with these. 3 times 8 is 24. This equals 4 times 6, which is 24. So 24 equals 24. These two ratios are exactly the same.
So you cross multiply?
Yeah. See what I did over here? I took 3 times 8, put it there, and
6 times 4, okay.
then 6 times 4 is here. Now, why do you think they teach us that? For education. All right, besides education.
Give us a headache.
Besides a headache.
Medication. Medication.
Yeah, well, it is used in medication calculations. But let's say, going back to the other, let's say I had an x here and I had 4 equals 6 over 8, right? One way of solving for x, I showed you a method, well, if we know that the relationship, we divide 8 by 2, that'll give us 4. If we divide 6 by 2, it'll give us x. Say we didn't know that, wanted to check using another method. We could have said x times 8, so it would be 8x, is equal to 4 times 6, right? We want to solve for x, so we've got to divide both sides by 8. If that cancels, we get x equals 4 times 6 divided by 8. This is going to equal what? 4 times 6 is 24 divided by 8. And 24 divided by 8 equals 3. So using this information, it is a way we could solve if we have one of these terms that is unknown. Yeah. If this doesn't work, sometimes it may not be an integer, right? In this case it was 2. What if it was 2.3?
Yeah.
That's a little harder to figure out. Then you'd use this method.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Can you show that method again, please?
sure. You want a different set of numbers, or are these okay? All right. Here's what I did. I want to figure out what x is. I'm going to multiply x times 8, that's 8x. I'm going to multiply 4 times 6, that's what I'm doing here. That's what I have. Now, I want to solve for x. I'm multiplying by 8, so I got to divide by 8 here to get rid of that. And that will leave me with just x. If I divide this side, the left side by 8, I got to divide the right side by 8. So that's what I'm doing here. So I divided both sides by 8. So I got x equals 4 times 6 divided by 8. Then I just solved here and got to 3. 2 to 4? This is going to be equal to what? 6 to 12. Right? If I multiply this by 3 and multiply this by 3, I'll get that. So we know that's correct. Now I'm going to turn this into a problem. I'm going to put this in the numerator. This is the problem we're going to work on. We're going to solve for x. We already know it's 2, but we're going to work on this. All right? Just for clarity. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say it's x over 4 equals 6 over 12. Okay. All I did was just take these and put it into fractional format.
Right.
All we have to do is cross multiply.
Right.
But there's a shortcut to that method. All we have to do is take this and bring it up into the numerator. It's like doing a half cross.
So put 46?
No.
What do you think?
4 times 6.
Oh, okay.
Over here on the side, I'm going to prove it to you. I got x over 4, right? I'm going to do it out. If I do the cross method, I'm going to get 12x equals 4 times 6, right? 4 times 6. Now I got to divide both sides by 12, right? So I'm going to get x equals 4 over 6 divided by 12. Isn't this the same as this? This would be x equals 4 times 6 over 12. Isn't this the same as this? This took 2 steps. This took 1 step. Now here's the rule though. If your unknown is in your numerator, just take your denominator and apply it to the numerator on the opposite ratio. So I'm just taking this and moving it over here.
You don't have to solve?
Yeah, you do, but I'm just saying, I'm just showing you. Then 4 times 6 is 24, divided by 12 is going to be what? 24 divided by 12 is 2. So we know the answer is right. Okay? This works all well and good when the unknown is in the numerator, right? Let's take this one down. We already know the answer is 6, but let's just do the technique of solving it. First thing I'm going to do is going to change these to fractions, or fraction format. Okay. Now the rule I just taught you, all we have to do is take this and multiply it by the 2. So it should be 2 times 12 over 4 equals x.
Is what you put on top.
All right, we're going to solve for x now, right?
Okay.
2 times 12 is 24. 24 divided by 4 is?
6.
Oh, sorry.
X equals 6. Let's do it the long way. This would be 2 over 4 equals x over 12. Let's cross multiply. Okay, get to that point. Divide this side by 4, divide this side by 4. We got x equals, isn't this the same as this?
Yep.
We've got the order reversed, but it's the same
Yeah.
value.
Yeah.
All right, so we save a step by doing it using this method.
Right.
You don't have to do this. If you want to cross multiply and then do the division, do it in 2 steps, fine. I'd rather do it that way, it's a little quicker.